Okay, so no issues.
Has anybody tried Bootstrap?
Yes, even running a basic program.
Uh, you can say if you have not
Yes, sir.
practiced, you can say. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, tell.
Sir, I tried and it worked properly.
Okay, great.
Okay, so Srishti, before uh, to run a bootstrap means what you have to do the first step. Do you understand my question?
Sir, I copied the code from that bootstrap site.
No, 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 no. You're not understanding. Means you have to run those classes and everything. You have to do one thing, right? You have to first link one reference
Yes, sir. So
from
that you're
one
talking about
CDN.
that external
Yeah, yeah, CDN
file.
that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's important, right? To run a bootstrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, tried. Okay, Akansha. Yeah, Srishti. Has anybody who has not tried, just you can say tried.
Great.
So, do you like CSS or Bootstrap? Okay, what is the difference between CSS and Bootstrap?
For CSS, we have to write code, and for Bootstrap, we have to copy paste the code.
No, no.
That's right, but not completely right. Okay, so you can't say that
You can't
Bootstrap is
say
just
you
copy
can't
paste.
say this in interviews, right?
Okay, sir.
Bootstrap is the your general like general responsive template, and CSS we can make our own template for our own project, like our own files.
Yes, if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's correct. If you make your own CSS, no copyrights ever.
Yeah. Sir, also I have to ask, like you told that use container for giving the margin in the bootstrap.
Yeah.
So if we do extra padding and stuffs with a CSS with the same name container, so it will be fine, right? No issues with that. Because I tried, but the padding was not showing in there.
Okay, if you know if you add the same name and everything, you have to specify it below this thing. Okay, after the CDN link, you have to add the your custom CSS link. Okay,
Okay.
so if you add it below this and here in CSS you define about it, then I think it will work without any issues.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, but the main important point is like responsiveness. In Bootstrap, it is responsive. Okay, that's the important thing. And
Yeah, if you have to
mm,
make it custom by custom, if you have to make a website responsive, you have to use a media query kind of thing. Okay, I'll explain that also. So see, basically, whenever you have an issue to make a website responsive, you have to use media query.
yeah, and Harshita, I think you have question like we can you want to learn React, right? So the condition is like if you complete the HTML, CSS, JavaScript completely, okay, you'll be like good in that. Then we can think of starting React basic.
Yeah, at least
Okay,
if you learn the basics, then you'll be able to move ahead because
yeah.
that's
You can't jump on React, and because in React you have to use more HTML and CSS, and JavaScript is compulsory.
yeah. Yep, if you guys are good with HTML CSS as of now, if you don't have issues with it, then moving to React will be super easy, no problem.
Yes, yes. The thing is that everybody should be comfortable, but if one or two is not comfortable, then we can't start, right?
Yes. Okay. Anything else? Anything else if you guys want to ask? With CSS also you can make same websites, but you have to use media query. And at specific breakpoints you have to change. You have to create your custom columns like this, and you have to use classes for specific columns. So it's a really hectic task. Okay, it's better to use CSS grid system or any of the grid system by any of the languages, any of this. Okay, and one more thing, other than this Bootstrap 5 there are multiple themes. If you go on internet you can find lots of Bootstrap themes. Okay, if you just search for bootstrap themes, I think there will be multiple of them. Okay, you get a lot of them, many of the templates. You can go ahead and check them out. All will have the same kind of documentation, same kind of structure. Everything will be same, the logic will be same, the code might change here or there a little bit because they have a theme like that. So but the overall system will remain same. And if you don't like bootstrap, there's one more known as minimalized css, but it's better to use that. Okay, is that clear? Okay, we had completed columns and grids, yes, last time. Okay, moving on in components, what did we miss out? Okay, let's see extensions first. How to add icons, anyone? Like I want to add multiple icons in my project. How can I do that? Any website where you get icons. You can name the website resource also. Other than what Bootstrap provides. Anyone? What's the website name at least? You can try.
Font awesome.
Font Awesome. Yes, that's correct.
Google Fonts.
Google Fonts used to give it, but now they have stopped it. They have another name for it. It's by Google. There's some other name for it. Font Awesome is there. That's correct. This is the website. This is what Bootstrap gives.
Glyphon.
Yes.
Glyphons.
Ugly fonts. UGLY or something like that. You can type it out in chat. Anyone other than this, any other website which you can refer for fonts. Not only it's not compulsory that it should be from this. Anyone? No idea. There's something named with fonts only. Another website having same name with fonts, which is really famous. Or icon, something like that.
No idea, sir.
By Google, Font Awesome, that's correct. Yeah. Pardon, I didn't hear. Wait a second. I'll turn up the volume. Yes, now. Icon set. Yes, that's correct. That's one of the website. Okay. There's icons by Google. Okay, so material icons by Google. Okay, so you can refer to this. These are also used by Google. So these are Google font. You can go to fonts.google.com and icons, or you can directly go to icons. Okay, so these are by Google, and these are very lightweight if you want to use them, and most of the apps you see nowadays are built on these kind of icons and websites. So this is one of the website, this is the other one, and font 8 also, but this is more kind of a reference kind of thing. If you want to download a particular font and use it, this can be used directly just by taking the link and using it directly. Okay, so if you click get started, it will show you how to use it. You just have to use it CDN and use it. So you can directly download the font or instantly use in local desktop or something like that. Okay, so there's a CDN option, or you can download it, any of that works. Okay, so we'll see it here. So it recommends 3 websites. There's Fonts Awesome, there's Feather, and there's Octi Icons. Okay, so Feather icons are really famous in minimal community. If you are working with minimal websites, if you are into UI UX development and something like that, these fonts and everything, these icons are really famous there. Okay, and if you guys want to learn CSS and want to really learn, I'll tell you a specific website, and if you want, I'll give a link to that also. There's something called as awesome animations, something like that, or something. Awesome animations, Feather, micro animations. yeah, there's something called as Nuance Animations, and this website is also really good. You get a custom animation on hovering over it or clicking on it, so you can download the file here also. This is also an option. Yeah, I'll give the link to this. This is a really good website and it's an initiative by one of our developer artists to Vodin. He's my friend on Twitter. So if you guys want to, his work is also great. You can use icons from here too. Okay. So there are many sites for icons, but the biggest content you will get is from Font Awesome. So that's the best one. And other two Octo icons is by Google. Basically, it's kind of given by Google. So GitHub, sorry, it's by GitHub. So icons are most of the icon pack that are present are related to GitHub icons, GitHub things. You can't find all the icons here. Some very specific icons are present. Okay, so that's a disadvantage from that side. Other than that, here you can customize and everything, all the icons. But only disadvantage with GitHub is this: you have a very limited design options. Okay. There are many others, but I'll recommend this feather icons and Google's material icons. These are the famous ones. Okay, so if you guys want to use it, suppose how to use these icons, anyone Font Awesome, how to use this specific icon, how to add an icon. Suppose if I make a new project now, if I use a bootstrap new project, I'll take template for it. How will I use it? Suppose I have to add an icon. How can I do that? I have to add an icon here. How will I do that? Anyone? Any website, but it's better to start with Font Awesome. Anyone? What are S?
We'll have to copy the CDN link for the font awesome in the head tag, inside the head tag.
Okay, that's correct. Suppose first you can search for any of the icons you want. Like let's search for an home icon. Okay, you can get this at your email if you want it, or you can directly search for an icon here. I'll just search for the icon here so everybody can use it. Okay, so if you search for a specific icon, it will show you options regarding it. So these are the options which you will get. Some of them are premium, so it will show pro, but most of them will be free. So that's correct what Harshada told, that you have to either you have to first search for an icon here, any icon that you like, then you can change the color and everything if you want. And these are just a sample colors, that color options that they show. The icon will be originally in black only. Okay, and it will show how to, you can download an SVG. Okay, Harshita had bought an SVG image, and what are SVG image / icons. The difference between them is SVG images are images which are specifically like designs or something like that. You can have illustrations. Just for example, I'll show you. There is a website known as undraw.co. Okay, this is an open source project in which you can take, these are also SVG diagrams or images. You can download an SVG or a PNG for blog post. SVGs can be stretched to any format, they won't break out. That's what I have explained. And icons, with icons specifically, it's better to keep an SVG icon. The advantage is that the icon is really small and the size of an SVG will be really small. But the only problem with SVG is sometimes may be little bigger in size. So in those cases, it's better to either take an image for different devices, or you can use the fonts directly. Okay. So let's see. So it will say you can download the SVG or you can use the CDN. Okay, so let's see how to use is there a link to the CDN? I'll go through the docs and copy the CDN. Yes, so it will specify everything. Where's the link to CDN? Yeah. Okay, so it will tell you to either download it locally. So that's how you download, and you put it in CSS, then fontawesome.css and other places, or it will show you the CDN, I think. should give the CDN link. Let me see if I'll get it on email. Okay, I'll download this zip. You can download it, or I think you can use it on desktop. These are the two options. I don't know why it's not showing the CDN. Let me check CDN for font awesome. If that doesn't work, this is these are the CDNs, I think, but they're for version 5. I think for version 6 they haven't released the CDNs as of now. That's why this issue is there. Okay, same thing, you can paste it above this bootstrap thing or below it, anywhere that works. Okay, because these are fonts basically, so you don't have to worry about where should you post it. And then simply whatever HTML you have to use, just copy the HTML file and paste it here. It works with it, I think. I hope it works. If it doesn't, no, it doesn't. I think this is a React one. Road all styles. Is this all CSS?
Sir, I have sent you a link. Just check it once, sir. I think it works.
I think this. Yeah, this loads. Okay. If okay, that's okay. If this is also there, yes. Yeah, this is also a website, CDN.js. You can use link from there also. I think for Font Awesome 6 they haven't released the. That's the issue. That's the problem. Otherwise, see, you can use all.css at the end and it works. All.css. Or yes, you can use links from here too. Yes. Cloudflare. You can anyone tell what Cloudflare is? Anyone? Without googling it, of course. What Cloudflare is? Anyone? You might have heard about it. There are many issues regarding it. Many big companies use it. Adidas, chess.com, and some big websites. What happens if Cloudflare goes down? Anyone? Okay, no idea. I'll tell you. Cloudflare is a hosting platform where you can host your websites for free on cloud. So they give you an option to host a specific website online if you want to do that, and you can do it. Many websites came down when in specific events, when if you have a bulk of audience coming there, so that might happen. Okay, if you want to use a specific icon like this, you can use it. And moving on, if you have to increase the size and font of it, you can use FA large, FA small, everything of that works. Okay, so if you want to increase it, you can use large, I think that will work. No, it doesn't. Let me see the documentation. This is for React. Yeah, this is size 2x, size 3x, size 5x, and size 7x. Yes, in here you can change the size either from CSS. You can go here and change it in CSS, specifying FA home dot FA home, and then you can change it dot FA home, fa dash home, and then you can change the size parameter for it and write size equal to 9x till 9x. You can increase it, so 9px or something like that you can use, or you can use the font size or something like that, I think. And let me take the CSS for it. Size, I'll increase the font size to 9. Yeah, so you can change it to a bigger amount. I'll take 100 and see, you can change it through CSS like this. Okay, if you want, there must be some HTML also, FA something like that. I don't remember it exactly, but yes, you can increase it through it. There must be some styles, FA for empty. If you want to use it, like if you go home to the gallery, for empty it's something different, for filled it's something different. If the free one is available, free must be filled one in most cases. The empty one is always pro. So if you want to use a specific icon for free, you have to either use this, or you can download the pro CDN for it if it's possible. If there are options to download a pro CDN, just download that. That's the best thing. Okay. Yeah, I think nowadays it requires login or something like that. That's the issue. Okay, but these are the basic icons you can use. With Materialize also you have the same thing. You can select a particular icon and you get the CSS for it, span tag, and how to use it. Use in Angular, use in HTML. You get all of this. You can download the SVG. You can use it in Android, iOS, Flutter, any of this. Will show you how to use it. Okay, and same you have to. You can either download the CDN for it, or you can, with Angular guide also it gives you the specific CDN. Same thing. Okay, moving on. Yes, okay, so Bootstrap can be used with any of the specific platforms. Like if you want to use it with HTML, CSS, JS, so you can use it. If you want to use it with flexible HTML, like kind of mix of HTML, SAS and everything, it works with that also, and all of that will work. You don't have to worry if it works for a specific item. Okay, so these are properties. We haven't studied forms, so we'll go to the forms thing part. Okay, so Bootstrap gives you great options for forms. Basically, whenever you have to make a very quick website, it's best to use Bootstrap and use fonts from there. Use directly form elements from here, so you don't have to worry for whatever font, whatever item is present here. They give you everything pre-built, most of the field elements, and you can change it if you want to modify. Okay. So whenever if you are making a form or something like that, it's better to just directly use the custom CSS and everything from here, and it will work completely fine. Okay, so you can see the elements. Why it's sticking to the end? How to bring it to the center? Like have some little bit of margin. What should it be kept in? Why?
Container.
Yes. Okay, so every time whenever you make a website, by default add a container. Okay, so I think it is not there by default in normal HTML in this Bootstrap, but in normal HTML CSS if you do it, I think by default it gives you a basic container. Okay, so let's see. Yes, it comes. Okay, so now you can specify your email and everything. All validations are done by default, and I'll explain the code of whatever element. You have to use a form tag every time you make a form. Always put it up in the form tag. Rest actions and everything you can define later, so that's okay. Input type is email, same thing. Class and you can specify an ID. These are all defined by default. Okay, Then there's alien describe. This is also not required. This is required when you have to add some text or something like that. It gives you an option of help text if you want. So if a field is really complex to explain, so something like SSN number or something like that, those fields are not easy to understand, so you give an help text below that. This is your social security number and you have to enter it. This is a secret code, it will be saved in something like that. Okay, in passwords also you have that. So these are provided by it, and all templates and everything, all form elements will be given by HTML, so you don't have to worry if Bootstrap is doing it or not. Okay, so yes, it gives you also if you want to put up some span tag, add some specifications that your password should be 8 to 20 meters long, so 8 to 20 characters long, so you can also do that with this. And disable text and everything. Till you complete the form, you can keep the button disabled, and as soon as your form elements are filled, you can click it enable. Okay, how will we execute if a particular button should be disabled till you fill the form? Can anyone explain how which language will be used for this if we have to do this? Like currently these are disabled fields, and once I fill all of these fields, they should get enabled in case if they both are enabled. Like in this case, if I fill email and password, this button should remain disabled till then, and as soon as I fill this field, they should get enabled. So how can I do that? Anyone?
We will use JavaScript for it.
Yes. So with JavaScript only you can do such kind of activities. With CSS and HTML you have a very limited scope, so that's why we use JavaScript for it. Okay, so you get advantages like this. And if field set disabled, this disables all the elements. So any of the text present here, anything that is present will be disabled. So if in case you have to add this through you can add tags through JavaScript also. So suppose if a user has filled form once, you can give an option to set it as field set disabled, and he won't be able to access the form again on his device. Okay, so that's how these are done. This is SAS variable, so we won't be going into that. Then there's select. So basically drop downs, or you select one options out of it, drop down and select one out of them. So for that you can use this, an option and value thing is there. Okay, hey, can anyone explain why value is, what is value and what is this one? I explained it in first CSS session. What's the difference between the one which is written there and one written here? The one which is present in value and one which is written in HTML. Why have to
So the one in the value will be used for the if we use in JavaScript, not the actual value that will be sent once we select. And the 1, 2, 3 mentioned are just the you can say the name for like what will be seen by the user 1, 2, 3. We select one of those.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so basically whatever is visible to the user is 1, 2, 3, and for our site, whenever we use backend or when we use JS or everything like that, in those cases we require the values. So it's better to pre-code them or always add those values beforehand, so you don't have to find where the form is when what is defined at what place. So in JS it will be easier for you. Okay. Can anyone explain what MB3 and all of this is? MB3, what MB is? Anyone? What MB is in Bootstrap? Anyone? LG, you know it's large. By default it's giving a large option, so it shows LG. What is MB? Okay, I'll explain. Whenever in HTML CSS you have to add a margin and everything like that, so it's margin bottom. By default you can add 3 units to it. If you want 2 units, you add 2 units to it. So why it's using bottom, so that these two elements don't stick together. To avoid that, that's why we can add margin like this. Okay, so MB is used for margin. Then you have MR, ML for left, and just M for normal margin around all the elements. Okay, so that's how you do it. Also, you can have multi-select options if you want, like you press control and you can select multiple options. So that's the advantage. With normal HTML CSS you don't have such options. Okay, so to do that you need Bootstrap. So that's why some options aren't present in normal HTML, so they built a custom CSS for it so that we can use it. And you can limit the size also, like if you want the height to be limited to only 3 at a time, so you can do that also. So these are basic elements. Then we have radios and checkboxes. Yes, there's something default check enabled. Same thing, this is same as what we studied. We have also added one here, so I think we have added one here. So yes, this is how it looks. Yeah, in UI aspect you can't change much here. In UI aspect you can't change much here because it's a template by default. If you have to change a UI completely, you can build it from scratch or take some other Bootstrap UI. Okay, so you can take other templates also if you want, but this is the famous one, so that's why I'm teaching a general basic one. Other templates the code will be almost same, and if you want to understand a specific element with the CSS, you can just search what it does, and most of the output will be present on Google. And in case if you don't, we are also there, so you can ask us. So here also input, and there's always a label with it. So programmatically, when you're using HTML and CSS, it's always advisable to keep a label and input. That's why whenever you guys are asking why are you using label, you can directly write the text next to it. So whenever you are doing Bootstrap or any other language, they will always have a specific section named as label. Okay, so those who are asking doubts, why are we using label like this, why like this, we can directly write default radio. What happens if you write default radio, this text will be stick to this radio button by default. I'll show you. So that's what CSS has. They have already built an option like this so that you don't have to worry about such things. Okay, let's see. Okay, so by default, if you see it, it will normally show a default radio button, and you can select unselect it. And so in case if you remove this label, there's no much difference, but I think it will break when you take a mobile view. It works. Okay, it works in this case, but when you have multiple elements, I think it won't work. So if you have 5 to 6 elements, it will be a problem. So that's why it's preferred to keep label like that. If you have multiple radio buttons in a row, it might have a problem. So that's how it is. And there are switches and everything. What are switches used for anyone in websites? The basic use of switches nowadays. All the websites that you see.
Dark mode, light mode.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so very good. One of the most important features of switches is dark mode and light mode. Every website you see, they have generally this nowadays. So these are really important. So if you want to use it, just you can copy this, or you can get many codes for toggle buttons online, so you can use that also. And these are checkboxes and everything, so many options will be there. Even with checkboxes, you have an option to change the border for it, and you can perform various options at it. So then there's toggle, check, and everything. If you want it to be on button, you can also do that with button also. So that's how it is. Like many people add dark mode with buttons also, so you can also do that, and with HTML also you can do that. So there's something called ranges. Okay, what are ranges used for? Any example of a range? We don't have this in HTML, normal HTML. Any example where we use range? Where we use ranges? Anyone? No idea. Just try, guys, try. where could ranges be used? If you have studied Python, in Python also with images it's used. And you have learned something called as how we changed colors in W3 schools at those days, that day. Brightness, darkness, yes, it can be used. Correct. Yes, it can be used in brightness, darkness. That's correct. In mobiles you use it. That's correct. That's one of the aspects. Anything else? Anyone? That's for mobile basically. But for laptop, any place where you use it. Okay, whenever you use machine learning, image classification, or hue, saturation, everything, those can be done with sliders and everything. When user doesn't have knowledge about the numbers in it, so it's better to keep a slider. When he doesn't have a knowledge how to use this slider, what are the values to enter, like 2px, 6px and everything, if he doesn't know about so much technical, it's better to put a slider so that it's easier to understand. So it's better for a user interface also, and better for you. He doesn't have to enter values like this, and you can specify minimum and maximum values by default, that what value should it take. So if you select this, it should take 5. If you select this, it should take 10. You can specify that. Okay, minimum and maximum values, these can be set from here, min and max, and according to what you select here, so this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and this becomes 5. Okay, so it's set like this, that number of values will be automatically taken, and if you take a step of 0.5, so it will take smaller steps, 1.5, 2.5 and something like that. Okay, so that's how it works. Then we have input groups, the last one of the important sections also. So where you take usernames, fields and everything, you can give an autofill automatically here. So in these cases, you reduce space by just adding the with the form field. You can just directly add the text here, and the person can write whatever he wants to. Like you can write here your first name, and then you can write the first name here, then last name and everything like that. In such cases, this basic elements can be used, and but most of the people prefer using this kind of structure, email address and then the text below it. But in case if you enjoy such kind of input elements, you can use it. It requires a less amount of space, and you have lesser writing area, so that's distracting for users. Sometimes it's not preferred. Okay, so these are the styles. Even you have drop downs and everything, so if you select it from here, most of the time what happens is the text will be displayed here. So that's how it is. Okay, these can be used if you want to. But then you have floating labels. Okay, can anyone explain what are floating labels? Floating labels, anyone? What will it do? Can anyone guess? Guys, just guess. This can be done. This you can try at least. Yes, guys, try at least. What does floating labels do? Floating labels, any floats over input, that's correct. Yes, so basically whenever you select a field, it automatically glows up. Okay, in those cases you use this. It's really popular, and nowadays every site you see, this is actually invented by Google. The first one who came up with this idea was by Google. So nowadays it's really popular, and every field you see nowadays are like this. So it's better to use this. These are very common and good for UIs also. because you see the whatever is written here, once you are done seeing it, you start typing, so now you know what you are typing out, so it's better. You can also have placeholders. So by default, placeholders, if you add placeholders, what happens is the text is already input here, so you can do that, but it's not required most cases. Okay, so if you want to do that, it's better to keep it like this, and he'll know what to write if it's email and password only. But if it's a complex field, it's always better to give a placeholder. Yes, and there's an option to put error symbol if you have something as invalid, and you can put a right symbol is invalid. This can be toggled using JS, so we'll learn how to do that. So if a field has a right email address, you can you can give a green symbol of tick, and if it's invalid, then you can type is invalid in that case. Okay, you can learn through JS. We'll do that, don't worry. And then there's an option to comments and everything. Same thing with those features also. If you have a bigger text area, same thing will work. So I'll take this also for an example. You can keep this below it, so we know it's a different kind of HTML. Yeah, so this works like this, same thing. Okay, any doubts, anything, any problems, why these trends are there or anything like this? You can ask doubts openly. Okay, and then there are layouts are basically how you want elements to be. So in case if you want two elements together, like if you want HTML to, like you want email to occupy 6 places and then you want password to occupy 6 places, you can do it through columns and rows. You can specify here div row, div container, div row, div column, and then you can add col md6, col 6, and in that case this will occupy 6 units, and then this will also occupy 6 units. So that can be done through HTML and CSS. You can do that. Okay, then moving on, you have form grids also. So col, by default you use col and you get 2 elements like this, first name and last name. It's always mandatory to put 2 elements. If they are same kind of elements, you put them together, like names can be put together. This is better for UI and it occupies less space too. Okay, so use col like this. Okay, and there's gutters also, gutters also specify, is another technique to use for a grid system, but better to use form grid or flexbox. Flexbox is not we don't have time for flexbox. If we had, we would of course focus on it. Then there's validation. So can anyone explain what validation is? Validation, just try guessing what validation is. Why should we have validation? Anyone? I explained this in class previously in CSS, I think. Anyone? To check errors. Yes. Anything else to check errors? That's one of the aspects. Okay. Guys, try. What else it is used? Checking the validity. That's correct. There's a more detailed answer if you can try. Anyone? Check validity of form. Yes, that's correct. That's right. To check whether the input is correct or not. Yes. Okay. Yes, correct. All of these are correct. So if you have to check various outputs and everything, in those cases, like email at the @gmail. Yes. Okay. Yes. So whenever you have to check if a particular field is filled invalid, if the user has entered a particular format, if the form values are different, in those cases this should be followed. So if you add a username as one letter A, Q and O, so that shouldn't work. Okay, here they haven't given that validation, but as soon as you fill the field, it should show if it's valid or not. Okay, so when you are done, these errors should go away. So this will learn from JS, but through HTML, through Bootstrap, they have given a default validation, but you have to use JS for it. So here's the JS for it. We'll learn how to use this, don't worry, but with JS you can add this kind of structure. Okay, is this clear? Any doubts up till now? Any problems you can ask? I think most of the components is over. And same typography, same here also, h1, h2, h3, paragraph class, and then display 1, display 2, display 3. These are also for headings, but it's better to use h1 headings. They are preferred and they are easy to use. You can use custom CSS and everything regarding images. Same responsive images. If you want to use a responsive image, you use a class known as image fluid. So this has to be embedded. So if you add an image, by default it will be responsive. Okay, if you want to add a responsive image, just use class image fluid, and at any resolution it will automatically be fluid. And you can specify the column if you want in class, but that is done by default. Okay, and same float start, float end is how you want that particular image to start and how you want the other image to be. These aren't that important. So these are this, and there's tables. Yes, tables are important. So when you have to show receipts and everything, in those cases you can use this. So you have first, second, last, and handle. So if you have new accounts, like if it's an admin table and you have to show number of users, so in these cases these tables are there. They have their own UI, and you can add colors to the cells. So this is how different colors works. You have primary, default, success, danger. Same thing works everywhere. These are 7 or 8 colors. They work everywhere, and you can use it. This table stripe. Can anyone explain where table striped is used? This is very common. Stripe tables are used at specific places. Can anyone explain where? Where will stripe tables be used? This is a good question. If you guys can guess. Try guys, try. Where is stripe tables used? And hoverable tables also. You can use either of them. I explain either of them. In hover table, you just hover over them and they change color. Difference between a normal table, stripe table, and hoverable table. If you can explain, that would be great. Like with example, not explaining the functionality. Anyone? Just try, guys. Try once. Where are they used? Table toppers in match. Yes, that's correct. Where? Which table? Normal tables in those cases, I think. Yep, you can use stripe tables. Stripe tables are generally used in expenses. Okay, so whenever you have to show expenses and everything, you use stripe table specifically for it. Normal cases, if you have a static data, like you have to show what is the calorie present in a particular food product, you use it here. And hoverable table, when you have an option to show first, second, third, or something like that, in those cases these can be also used. Or if you want to read a particular element, like if you have 10 clients and you click the first one, you can redirect to a page or where the user is explained and he has details about it. So in that, if you want, if we have the score table for Indian cricket team, so in that case, if you click the first one, then you can see what runs he has scored, what long partnership was it, and how many dot balls and everything you can see through that. Okay, so that's where these active tables and hoverable tables are important. Okay, and there's the colors and everything can be done. Table border and border, you can specify the color of it. You also have table, borderless table, but nobody uses borderless table nowadays. It was pretty old. Still HTML hasn't provided a default border by default, so that's how it is. And the table head, same thing, you can add t head is used for table head, or you can use th tag, or you can use t head tag, any of that works. Okay, td body and everything, all the HTML thing works the same way. Figures, okay, figures are same thing. What's the difference between a figure and an image? Anyone? Difference between a figure and an image? Anyone? Just try. Difference between a figure and an image. Figure is a diagram, and image is image. Okay, so whenever you have images, like you have to specify what image is doing specifically, so you add a caption to it, figure caption, and you can specify what kind of images say. So whenever you study biology and everything, in those cases you have to specify what it is. Even in newspapers, you see every photo that they put up, they sometimes have figure captions for it. So to use that, or whenever you write a blog post, in those cases you can add fig caption. So this is really useful there, and this is one of the important elements too. So I think most of it is over, and if you want to use SAS also, you can use it, but it's better to use CSS. Then there are different optimizations. We can see optimizations. Okay, in optimizations, what you can do is you can write code for this also in more of a SAS kind of thing. This will teach more in, yeah. Okay, one of the important things when you are learning SEO. So suppose if you are done making your project and you want to increase the speed of which the site loads, you can minify your CSS by going to minify my CSS, minify my JS. You can search it on Google, and what it does, it makes the links, all of the HTML, all the CSS in a single line. So what CSS will look like is like it will be stick together to each other. There won't be any gaps between them, so it will look like something like this. If you increase it, the gap will be very less, so you will have sticking to each other, all the elements will be sticking to each other. There won't be any gaps, it will be all in a single line until the line gets over, then it will break. Okay, in those cases this is used. So that's how Minify, JS and everything works. Okay, any doubts up till now? I think we are done with Bootstrap, more of it, and from Monday we'll start JavaScript. We can have a revision session of Bootstrap and CSS. We'll first have for CSS, of course, on Sunday, then we can have for Bootstrap. Till then we'll give an assignment on Friday, and you guys can complete it till Monday or Tuesday. 3 days, you can take 3 days too. We will keep it as Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay, is that fine? Okay, great. Okay, anything else you guys have doubts? From Monday we'll be starting from JavaScript. So if you have doubts with HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, do let us know so we can resolve it. Otherwise you might have issues when we are learning JavaScript.
Yes, I want to ask the difference between SAS and CSS.
Okay, that's a very good question. So what is difference between SAS and CSS? CSS is simpler as compared to SAS. SAS was basically when you have multiple CSS files, like suppose you have a very complex project, and it's generally used when you are using it's preferred with Bootstrap. I think initially Bootstrap used to give for SAS only, it didn't give it options for CSS initially. So what happened was SAS was used for theme colors. When you have, like, if you are making a website with dark and light modes, if you have to specify, if you have to make a particular color, like you want a blue color to be specific, you can define a variable for blue color, and the same blue color variable can be used all over in your website. With CSS, you can make variables too with CSS, but the variable size is really large. With SAS, this becomes a really less. You just have to make a dollar symbol and then the theme color, and these themes can be used anywhere. So that's an advantage, that you can use maps and everything. The map, if you have studied, it's a data structure. In maps, you can add any number of elements inside a particular element, so you can use it with a theme color and everything like that. So you get a lot of options to add colors, and you can add dynamic colors through that with CSS. With CSS, you don't have an option to add dynamic colors, I think. With JS only you can do it. So that's an advantage, and it's really useful when you are using it with React.js. Okay, so if you learn React.js, I'll explain that more in detail there, why it's more important as compared to CSS, because in React we have variables and everything, so that's why.
Yeah, you said adding dynamic colors. So I didn't understand what is dynamic colors. Adding dynamic colors.
Okay, so dynamic colors is basically when you change your color theme from dark mode to light mode, you see a color change automatically, from dark background like gray to white color. So that happens very fast in SAS, and you just have to define a single element for it. While if you make it in CSS, you have to write a little bit longer code. You have to use dark component, you have to use if dark, if light. You have to write a CSS for 6 lines more. With SAS, you just write 2 lines and it can be used anywhere. So that's an advantage basically. So you reduce the number of lines in CSS. So that's what it is.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Any doubts, anything else you guys want to ask? Otherwise, you may take a leave today. From Monday, we'll start JavaScript.
सर
Yeah.
सर वो जो कंटेनर ग्रिड सिस्टम था